Broadcasting live from the Business RadioX studios in Atlanta, Georgia, it's time for High Velocity Radio.
Welcome to the High Velocity Radio Show, where we celebrate top performers producing better results in less time. Stone Payton here with you this afternoon. You guys are in for a real treat. Please join me in welcoming to the broadcast with Fulfillment Coaching and Consulting, Evgenia Baikova. How are you?
I am doing great. It is cold outside, but sun is shining. That means everything is fine.
What a delight to have you on the broadcast. I've really been looking forward to this conversation. I think maybe let's start with, if we could, for the benefit of me and our listeners, mission, purpose. What are you really out there trying to do for folks?
Oh, and that's the nice beginning. So my mission and the purpose, that's the interesting thing. Because, well, when we were talking previously, I shared with you that my background is purely human resources. But one day I decided that, well, I have something to do in this world. And now I'm on the mission to bring resources for female entrepreneurs to help them grow and to help them stop overthinking and feel in control of their businesses. And by resources, I mean the tools that are available for those who are working for Fortune 500 organizations. But now I'm bringing that resources to small organizations, for solopreneurs, for entrepreneurs, making that accessible.
So what compelled the decision to focus primarily on female entrepreneurs?
Well, I used to work, my initial packages, my initial services was about leadership because that was kind of a natural thing for me to continue what I was doing in corporate. But then I realized that female entrepreneurs, fellow coaches, for example, they don't have that support because entrepreneurship is lonely. And you're just by yourself doing all the things, and there is no help that you can rely on. So, when I quit my corporate job, that 9 to 5, my network is expanded significantly, and I felt that loneliness in the community. That's why I decided to switch.
So you mentioned the corporate 9 to 5. Tell us a little bit more about your journey to get here. What's the backstory? I bet it wasn't a direct path.
Well, I was always passionate about people's development, and I helped them to grow. And, so many people describing me as gifted person who see the little talent and that I can, help you to discover the talent, to discover your strengths and help you nurture and maintain that. So it's a kind of a gift that I had through all my life. And that's why I made a decision to get actually a degree in human resources. And then I was working in human resources function for different organizations. And 20 plus years, this is my career. And I built my way up to HR director position. And I led teams, I coached teams and leaders and employees. So it was everything about helping them to be better at what they do. And to me, coaching and establishing my coaching practice was kind of a natural path to continue. But I also feel that in my organization, being just, the owner and the CEO who is making decisions, who is deciding what's mission, the vision, and strategy, that's something which is bigger than I was before. And I also used to work with coach who many, many times told me, well, Evgenia, you are bigger than just a coach. Because you are also a supporter, you are a connector, you are a great networker too.
So I want to hear a little bit more about the work itself. Are you working largely one-on-one? Are you working with groups or a little bit of both? What does it look like when you actually begin in engaging with someone to help them?
And that's a great question because just in the morning before our call, I had another call and we were talking about workshop, and that workshop can lead to group coaching. I like working with groups too, and this is an opportunity to work with me because you know that before I used to work with teams, right?
Right.
And it's all about team dynamics, and I like that. It's a kind of I don't know, you are bringing magic to people, and when when you see how they're working together, that one person asked one question and that started like um the chain reaction in the group of people. And before that I was primarily focusing on one-on-one coaching because I really like to be in close connection with whom I work, to learn about the person, to know the person, to feel and sense what's going on there. But also, you know, working with teams, it's a bit different, but it's also can bring that deep connections and deep relationships. So yes, I do both. I work one-on-one and I also do team coaching or group coaching.
So as I'm hearing you talk, I'm trying to envision that environment. I suspect there's a great deal of, what would you call it? Peer-to-peer learning. I bet they learn a lot from each
Yeah.
other as well. Yes?
Yes, 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 yes. And you know, that's why I think that, well, I didn't invent something new, but what I do with my group coaching or team coaching, I provide them with bits and pieces of information, a kind of a theory or sharing something with them, teaching them. And then I do a kind of a guided learning so that they are paired or they are working in small groups, because you know that lecture is not the format when you learn, right? You can understand what person is talking about, but there's no learning there, right? That's why I make my sessions very interactive where they can practice. So I give them something, then they practice and they reflect on what just happened to them and they report. This is the best format that, well, and this is my opinion. I like this format a lot.
So at this point in your career, what are you enjoying the most? What's the most fun about it these days for you?
Well, as I mentioned before, I like one-on-one because this is about deep connections. I like group sessions because it's fun. And I also like to be on the stage because, you know, I also think that this is a part of my mission to share what I learn, and I have my experience, I have my background in education too. So I really have something to share, especially that, you know, I believe that this is a kind of a magical combination of my experience and my education. And you know that, well, I have a couple of certifications, and one of them is coactive coaching, which is actually considered to be the most transformational coaching on the market, and Gallup Strengths Finder that allows me to bring to my clients strengths-based coaching. And my experience allows me to wear additional hat being a mentor, right? So I was in corporate. Now when I am entrepreneur. So that's the shift, right? I've been an employee and then I become a director. That's another shift. So I know all the things, I know all ins and outs, and I can help my clients to navigate if they are experiencing something similar or they are preparing themselves for the next chapter, for the next step.
So are you finding yourself working with a lot of females or a critical mass of females who are transitioning, much like you did at one time, from a more traditional environment to now an entrepreneurial environment? And if so, are you seeing some patterns, some common challenges that you just about always know you're going to try to help them work through?
Yeah, well, thank you, Stone. This is an interesting question because, you know, when I was in my certification program, so many instructors told us, okay, guys, you will definitely attract clients as you are, with the same experience, with the same beliefs. And yes, this is working. This is true. So I do attract female clients who are transitioning or who are thinking about this transition.
Mm.
And yes, they all have something in common. And this is, you know, how to name it? Like, not the obstacle, but this is a challenge. And I help them to learn how to trust themselves because you know that the biggest shift from being in corporate environment or being in 9 to 5, and then when you are transitioning in entrepreneurship, it's about trusting yourself because you are alone, right? You are the person who is making decisions. You are the person who defining success for yourself. Because in corporate world, how you define your success? Who defined that for you? Your promotions, right?
Yeah.
Your performance reviews, I don't know, feedback from your leader, feedback from your colleagues. But now you're alone. So you just need to make yourself comfortable making decisions without constant constant reassurance. And this is the biggest shift, right? Because we are waiting. Because in corporate, or when you were in 9 to 5 environment, everything was already decided, right? Everything was validated. Okay, now you're good to go. Well, yes, you're on the right track. But what to do now? You're just you, right? So many questions. That's why we're experiencing overthinking. That's why we are waiting for perfect moments, right?
Right. So for you personally, when you made the transition, I'm sure you're well beyond this now if it was a challenge, but did you have any trouble with just the business side of things, like getting the new business and
Of
running a
course.
business? Yeah, speak to
Of
that a little bit.
course. Yes. And this is a great, moment to share this. Of course, I was there too, right? Because, well, I knew how to be a leader, right? I knew how to be a good employee. I knew that I am a good coach because I was trained, I was certified, I passed numbers of exams, right? But being a coach is the skill, and being the business owner is another one. And to be successful, you
Mhm.
need both. And that's the thing that what I'm observing, especially within coaching community, those who are new to coaching, those who are just graduated their school or just got their certifications, they think, and I was the same, well, I'm a great coach, I will attract so many clients. And actually, it's not working like that, right? It is not. So that was a huge learning curve to me.
So when people are at least considering engaging you or just thinking about maybe engaging a coach or early in the process, if they've pulled the trigger and decided to do that, do you find that sometimes they have some preconceived notions, maybe even myths about what coaching is and what it isn't? And
Mhm.
is that a challenge at all from time to time?
It is. And this is our job. I mean, this is coach's job to explain what coaching is and what it is not. Right. And I like this analogy. Like, if you are trying to learn how to ride the bike, you need to maintain balance. And to maintain balance, you need a person who will hold the bike for you. So the coach's job is to hold the bike for you while you are learning to maintain the balance. And when you are in the balance, you can ride on your own.
So I know the answer to this is yes, but I'm going to ask anyway so that maybe you can expand on it. But my question is, did you have the benefit of one or more mentors along the way as you were navigating that new terrain, or maybe you're even to this day tapping into mentors, or maybe even serving as a mentor yourself? But to talk about that a little bit, this idea of mentoring.
Of course, I was and I am big fan of mentoring, and I was a part of mentoring initiative when I was working in corporate.
Ah,
And after that, I decided, okay, so I have a coach who helped me with my mindset, but I need someone who can teach me how to do business, or at least be my sounding board, or at least to be a person who can connect me with other people. And the biggest learning for me was that it's okay to have more than one mentor. And now I have two. Well, they are from absolutely different industries, nothing to do with coaching, but I enjoy having them both as my sounding board. And yes, I am also a mentor for for those who are new to coaching. And for example, I'm also serving at one nonprofit organization where we provide free coaching for women in need. And we have volunteers who are coaching people. So we teach the basics, how to coach, what to do, what's not allowed. And I help them to be better at what they do because they have that calling. So yes, I can consider myself being a mentor too.
So I'm going to switch gears on you for a moment, if I may. I am genuinely interested to know what you might find yourself doing if you're not coaching, speaking, mentoring, writing, hobbies, interests, pursuits outside the scope of the work.
I don't know. That's it seems like I cannot survive without coaching or helping people. I'm a big helper. So if coaching is not the thing, probably I will find myself helping in other different ways. I used to serve as a board member of one nonprofit. Well, definitely will do that more. I will definitely volunteer and, of course, travel. I like traveling a lot. And for example, last week, that was an interesting experience for me. That was a kind of workation. So I just joined my husband who was on the trip, and he was working, I was working, but also we carved some time for us to explore the area, and we went to Arizona, and that was the first time for us.
Oh, neat. Well, I wonder if you have this experience. My listeners know that I like to hunt, fish, and travel, and I like to be on the water or in the woods. But I genuinely believe, with all my heart, Evgenia, that when I take time to do that and invest in myself a little bit, I really feel like I come back that much better equipped to serve, and maybe that much better a practitioner. Has that been your experience?
I would agree. And I also will add that being outside, and it doesn't necessarily mean that you have to go somewhere far. Just being outside of your house sometimes can bring you new perspectives. Like you can be thinking about something, but just getting outside of your office, you see it in a new light. When you travel, with all the experiences of being on a plane, being in taxi, or living in hotel, it also brings you ideas and perspectives and sometimes even change your mind. And especially if you have an opportunity to meet people while you are traveling, and I did it. I met a friend of mine. Actually, that was the first time we were meeting in person because, well, our friendship just started online. And that was a interesting conversation, and that's absolutely different flavor of being just close to each other and have similar conversations that we used to have online. But yeah, it's changed some. It's not changed, but it brought me some ideas, and even I created some posts for my social media after that journey.
I am so glad I asked. I think that's that's marvelous. Hey, listen, before we wrap, I would love to leave our listeners with a couple of ideas, pieces of advice, maybe pro tips, sometimes I call them. Anywhere from, if someone's feeling stuck, they've hit a plateau, they're really wrestling with this genuine role shift from, high performing contributor in an organizational environment. Now they're out there trying to do their own thing. And look, guys, the number one pro tip for you, if any of this is striking a chord with you, reach out and have a conversation with Evgenia. But between now and then, let's leave them with a little something to chew on, something to think about.
And that's a wonderful question, and it's so aligned with what I am preparing for these days. On Monday, I will be leading an interesting workshop, Being and Doing, because I believe that we are missing that being part. We are doing, right? We are high achievers. We are doing things, and sometimes we are doing that on autopilot. And that being piece, it's like one of our instructors when I was in certification program told us, well, we are human beings. We're not human doings. That makes sense, right? So just, be present in the moment. And this is not just words, right? When you are in the middle of something and you feel that, well, something is missed, just try to be present and try to feel. Feel yourself, okay, I'm sitting in this chair. Is it comfortable? What's about my back? What's about my legs? What about the temperature in the room? What I'm drinking? Is it tea or coffee? Because sometimes we're drinking something just on autopilot, right? Again. And another thing is that when you try to do something which is challenging, usually we think, okay, am I ready? Is it the perfect moment? Well, do the thing before you're ready because you will never be. Right. And because clarity and confidence, they're coming from action. And this is another workshop that actually I do. Confidence is forge and fire, or confidence is embodied in action. Right. So act, do little steps every day. Right. And you will see that you are progressing faster than when you are thinking about, I don't know, making a giant leap.
What marvelous advice. Thank you for that. All right. What's the best way for our listeners to connect with you, have a conversation with you about any of these topics, start to tap into your work? Let's give them some coordinates, a good way to connect.
Well, I have an interesting, very creative email address, and it's evgenia@fcc.coach. Not com, but coach. And also, this is the same address for my website, fcc.coach. You can find me there. Let's connect, let's chat. I have different resources, and you can think about what fits you, right? So we can just chat. You can be part of my program. You can join my workshop. Some of them are free. So yeah, a lot of tools.
Evgenia, this has been a fantastic conversation. Thank you for your insight, your perspective. You're clearly doing incredibly important work for so many, and we sure appreciate you.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
My pleasure. All right, until next time, this is Stone Payton for our guest today, Evgenia Baikova, and everyone here at the Business RadioX family saying we'll see you in the fast lane.